Hello, this is Scott Smith with CyberWyoming. Today I'm going to show you how to use a feature in Windows called Bitlocker, which is used to encrypt and decrypt disk drives. Good security practice to encrypt your disk drives, particularly on laptops and on flash drives that tend to move around or get lost or whatever. The general idea is you use BitLocker to encrypt the entire drive. You assign a password to it, and you can use the disk drive pretty much transparently. That is, the encryption doesn't show up as long as it's on the local machine. If it moves to another machine, a password's going to have to be required before that drive will open up and show its contents. So anyway, we're going to start by searching for BitLocker from the taskbar. And we get a management screen that shows us two choices. One is to encrypt the C drive, the operating system drive. And a second choice, which is to encrypt a removable flash drive that I have plugged into my computer. It's a 4 gig drive. It won't take too long to encrypt. So let's go ahead and do the flash drive. We click on BitLocker off. We say turn on BitLocker. We get a screen that's saying BitLocker is starting. And your first choice is to assign the password that you're going to use. I do recommend using a different password from the one you use to log Windows in. And I'll explain why that is later. So you type in your password twice. BitLocker uses a recovery key if you ever need to recover the disk drive because of some failure in the encryption process, or you've moved the disk drive to another machine, you'll need the recovery key. For portable drives, for portable drive encryption activity, I recommend saving this to a file. And here I have a folder called BitLocker Recovery Keys Removable. That's where I'm going to put it. You should probably give it some name that allows you to remember and identify later which flash drive it is. We'll just call it USB flash free. And it's saved it. Now you get a choice about whether you want to encrypt just the used disk space, that is the data that's already on the drive, or whether you want to encrypt the entire drive. If it's a new drive, you should probably encrypt just the used disk space. There won't be much, and it won't take very long. If it's a drive that already has data in it, you should encrypt the entire drive, and that's what I'm going to do here because my flash drive does have some data in it. And now it asks you which mode you want to use. Compatible mode means that it will work with older operating system versions. If you're just going to use the removable drive on this machine, you should use new encryption mode so you get the best possible encryption method. That's what I'm going to use here. If you got a flash drive, it's going to move around, or you're going to use it in multiple machines to save yourself some aggravation. You should probably use compatible mode. And then it asks us you're ready. Start encrypting. This will take, for a 4 gig drive, it will take about 10 minutes. So I'm going to pause the recording while we do it. give you some idea of how long this takes, for just a minute here, I'll show you the encrypting progress. This is a 4 gig drive, and you can see it's moving rather slowly. It will take several minutes. If you're encrypting your hard drive, your operating system drive in a laptop, if you've got a pretty big laptop, it will take hours for this to do. So you probably want to do it overnight and make sure that your laptop isn't set to shut itself off so that the encrypting will complete. I've never really done that, but I think it would be a good idea to make sure that the laptop is not set to shut itself off. So while that's running, I'll discuss encrypting your operating system drive. In a laptop, particularly one that's on the road some, that would be a great idea. Just in case you lost the laptop and there's sensitive information on there. As I've said before, when you encrypt the laptop operating system drive, let's say it's a terabyte, I don't know how long that's going to take. It's going to take hours and hours. You should probably just encrypt the part of the disk that's not in use and not the entire drive, just to save yourself some time. Use a password that's different from your Windows password that you use to log the laptop into the Windows operating system. The reason for that is it gives you an extra level of protection. If you lost the laptop, you'd have two different passwords that were used to protect the data that's on your computer. So remember to do that. Certainly going to take a long time to encrypt that disk. Notice, again, while this is running, some options down here at the bottom. You can back up your recovery key somewhere. You can change the password that's on the drive. You can remove the password. I'm not sure why you would want to do that, but you can remove it. You can add a smart card if you decided to use that. And you can turn off Bitlocker here to stop the encryption and decrypt it. Not sure of what turn off auto unlock does. I have not played with that feature, but that might be an interesting feature to use. Another thing I think I forgot to say up to now is while the encryption is going on, you can still use the computer. There will be some performance penalty. Some things may be slow or perhaps not even work at all, but you can still use the computer while the encryption is happening. This would be particularly important if you're encrypting your operating system drive. And yet another point, you can pause the encryption. If you've got a really big disk to encrypt, you can pause it, go use the computer at full speed for a while, perhaps go home for the night, come in the next day, start the encryption again, and it will pick up where it left off. So you don't have to do all of it at once. Okay, so that flash drive is now encrypted. I guess that took about 15 minutes for that 4 gig flash drive. That was an entire encrypt. So you can do the math and imagine what say a 1 terabyte hard drive would take. Certainly that would be several hours. So I'll close this up now and I'll show you what happens if we find that flash drive and eject it. I will pull it out and then put it back in. And there's the password. Okay, so that's Bitlocker, a summary of how to use that very useful feature of Windows. Take advantage of it. Certainly good security practice to use it on your portable and removable disk drives.